Hello, I'm Cameron from Gale Force 9 Games, continuing our How to Play series for Firefly Adventures, Brigands and Browncoats. Not every job is going to go smoothly, and chances are that eventually you and your crew are going to end up in a scrap. Today we will be covering the rules around brawling and shooting, as well as the rules for what your crew and the goons can see, which is important for sorting out who can and can't shoot. First up we have brawling. Crew or goons with the brawl action on their character card or on one of the pieces of equipment can start a fight with any character standing next to them. This is an action and will cost you precious time. All characters and goons can defend themselves in a brawl, even if they don't have the brawl action. The defender doesn't move on the timeline either, just the attacker. In the fight, both characters roll a dice and add their fight skill to determine their fight total. Whichever total is higher deals a wound to their opponent. For example, if Mal was fighting a bruiser and rolled a 4, then he would have a fight total of 6. 4 plus his fighting skill of 2. The bruiser rolls a 2 for a total of 3 with his fight skill of 1. Mal manages to wound the bruiser and a wound marker is placed. If it was a tie, then both would suffer a wound. Also keep an eye on the dice. If either fighter rolls a disgruntled die, then they don't deal a wound, regardless of what their final total is. Crew can use up to 2 pieces of equipment with the brawl action in a fight. When using multiple weapons like this, you can choose which brawl action to use, usually the one with the shortest time cost. The fight skill from these weapons gets added to your total. For example, if Jane has both the knife and wicked knife, he would have a fight skill of 5 to add to his dice roll. You can also use the brawl action on the wicked knife, since this is shorter than that of the knife or his character card action. Heroic crew who are standing next to alert goons are unable to get away without running the risk of getting hurt. If you do want to get out of a fight as quickly as possible, then you can try breaking away. This is like a normal brawl, except the crew member can choose to move away instead of dealing a wound if they tie or win the fight. Crew can make this movement even if they are defending and didn't start the fight. You can move the number of spaces shown on your character card, and this doesn't take any extra time or count as an action. Finally, in a brawl with more than 2 crew involved, then any crew with the assist action can use it, just like any other skill test. Goons never help each other though. So even if a crew is adjacent to 2 or more goons, then they still only have to make 1 action to try to break away. They don't need to fight them individually. If you prefer to settle your fights from a distance, then it's time to have a shootout. Shoot actions are only found on equipment pieces, and you can only use 1 at a time, unless specifically stated. Making a shoot action requires a skill test. To determine the target number for the skill test, then count out the distance from the shooter to the target. When you make a skill test, then you add your character's fighting skill with the fighting skill of the gun you're using, and then roll the number of dice shown next to the weapon's shoot action. If the total is equal or greater than the distance, then you land a successful hit and deal a wound. For example, if Zoe was shooting at the martial artist at a distance of 8 with the Frontier Model B, then she gets to roll 2 dice and add 4 to any roll from her own fighting skill and the skill on the gun. In this case, rolling a 4 and a 2 for a total of 10 when the fighting skill is added, easily passing the test and landing a wound. You can't shoot at anyone right next to you. Once they are that close, then brawling is the only way out. You also can't shoot into a crowd. If a goon is adjacent to one of your fellow crew, then you can't take the shot, unless you have a special piece of equipment that allows it. You can, however, shoot through crew members who are between you and the target, since it is implied that you have shouted at them to hit the deck. When you are shooting, you will often need to work out if crew or goons can actually see their targets. Firefly Adventures has a number of buildings of various sizes which will block the line of sight of anyone. since you obviously can't look through a building. A character is visible to another character if you can draw a line between the two squares without it crossing a building. Just a line from corner to corner isn't enough. The line actually has to reach inside the square. If you can draw a line to part of the square, but not all of it, then you can still see any character in that square, but they are partially obstructed. This means that if you try shooting at them, then the target counts as in cover, and any shooting test has a +3 penalty. Characters inside buildings can't see characters outside buildings, and vice versa. The only exception is characters standing immediately in front of or behind a doorway. These characters count as being in the doorway and can be seen through the door and see through to the other side. Characters can also brawl or shoot through a doorway. Any character in a doorway counts as in cover if someone starts slinging lead their way. And that's it for this how to play video for Firefly Adventures, Brigands and Browncoats. This is available to order now, along with the first 2 expansions from our online store, with a link in the description below. Thanks for watching. You can follow GF9 on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram for all the latest news and updates.